Hello everybody, my name is Devin Valencia. I am part of SDMA 2533, and this will be a video that helps Mac users, specifically ones with a M1 chip or an Apple Silicon chip, run PrairieLearn locally on their computer. So the current document, or the previous documentation, talked about getting a virtual machine, whereas with a Mac Apple chip, the virtual machines, for whatever reason, there isn't a lot that have compatibility with the M1 chip, at least at the time of this video. And so I'll walk you through the documentation that we have, which can be seen right here, to help us set up PrairieLearn locally on our machines. So going down through the table of contents, they have installation instructions. But if you see, there's a note here that if you're using a Mac with an Apple chip, disregard the installation instructions, because that will get you a virtual machine, which is not needed. And so it's directing us down to the course repository section, and then after that, the running on a Mac section. So if we go down to course repository, we want to clone our repo onto our local machine. So we'll go here to our team's repository. And so we want to get the HTTPS link. So we'll come here and we will copy this link. Now, if we move over to our terminal, we can run git clone and that repository link. So now we are cloning SDMA 2533, which is our repository, onto our local machine. Okay, so now it should be cloned. So now we should be able to run it. So we'll go over here. It took us down to the running instructions, specifically this running on a Mac portion. And so now we're normally told to download a VM, but with the Apple chip, we don't have the virtual box that they showed in the documentation above. It doesn't have compatibility with the Apple chip. And so what we need to do is we just need to download Docker so that we can run our PrairieLearn Docker image, because we don't need to do it on a VM. We can just do it all on our local machine. So we'll go to this link that's in the documentation. And so now we want to download the correct version, which is the Docker desktop for Mac with the Apple Silicon. So we'll wait for that to download. And then once that is downloaded, you'll need to make an account if you don't have a Docker account already. I believe when mine is downloaded and it's opened up, it will automatically sign me in. But I guess we'll see here in just a sec once this download is done. Okay, it looks like it's finishing up here. All right, so now we'll go to this Docker image and we'll open it up. And now we see we can drag and drop to applications. And now, once that is done being copied over into applications, we should be able to open it up and start running our Docker desktop, so that we are able to run our PrairieLearn Docker image. Verifying. Yep, should be good. Now it's opening up. All right, now once you're in this page, once you're logged in and everything, once you're in here, you don't have to do anything. Just keep it running in the background. So normally I just hit that little yellow button. All right, so now after getting Docker and after it's running in the background, it needs to be running in the background, we can go back to our terminal and we run this command right here. And so now for this, our course is SDMA 2533. With future iterations of this project, it could be SDMA 2633 or something. You'll just have to replace this snippet right there. But this should be the correct command to get PrairieLearn to run. So we'll run this. You put your computer password because it's a sudo. I think I just typed mine in wrong. Okay, we're good. So now it's going to start PrairieLearn. It's going to be running on this Docker image. So it'll take a little bit of time for it to start up. And it should tell you once it's all ready and activated. And then it will say to go to localhost port 3000. So we can get this. Now we can go to localhost. Okay, beautiful, we're in. All right, now we want to load it from our disk. And you can ignore these errors here. That's just some stuff that we need to fix at the time of this video. And so now that it's loaded in, we can go back and hit this PrairieLearn. And now you see there's some test courses, example courses, but our course is right here, SDMA 2533. So if you get into it and get into the fall section, we see that we have all of our homeworks available to us, except for the one that had the error, homework 1. And we can go in, we can see all the questions that are in here, we can see all the assessments, we can go in, we can start filling stuff in just randomly, can have our stuff graded. Everything is working well. You can go to a student view if you want, which just shows your homeworks, and you can see all of this, all the different homeworks in the student view. But yeah, so that is how you run PrairieLearn locally on your machine. So now we're in a staff view, an administrative view. We can even go into files. We can start editing this code if we want to work on this. So yeah, this is how you would run PrairieLearn locally on your machine without having to get a VM. This would be if you're using a Apple Silicon chip. So hopefully this video was helpful. Hopefully you don't have to fumble around trying to download a VM and see which VM works when you can just run it locally on your machine. So yeah, there are some resources below in the documentation. So our repository, also linked above, but also down here, and Docker installation. Hopefully this video is helpful, and excited to see what progress you can make after getting the setup done. Thank you so much. Have a great rest of your day. Bye.